Hello and welcome to Flashback Generations, episode 20 of our Imperial Assault rundown through the characters. This time we're looking at the Alliance Smuggler. There's Pete and I, as usual, with the car, and well, we're on our way to regionals. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Alliance Smuggler. Where's he famous from?
Alliance Smuggler, nowhere.
Is he from the games or anything?
No, he's just a generic smuggler dude. I think he's a kind of a vanilla, no-name version of Han Solo, isn't he? He's a smuggler. He's a good guy, maybe, and he looks vaguely like if somebody else had been cast as Han Solo back in the day,
Why are smugglers meant to be good guys, Pete?
Because they're always like, charming rogues with a heart, they act tough and blah, 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 blah.
But if you look at a smuggler in real life on Earth...
Oh yeah, the skanky, horrible, drug-dealing swine.
So how does this translate? Are the Imperials actually the good guys?
Well, obviously, I've been telling you that for years.
The Imperials are the loyal soldiers who,
Yeah, the Imperials bring order and law, and the smugglers just flout the rules, they just swine.
Yeah, they don't pay taxes.
That's it, yeah.
Alright, Pete, do you want to run us through the characters? As usual, we're going to run through all the stats and then we'll talk about the command.
Alright, starting off with the non-elite one.
The grey guy.
Yeah, he's called Alliance Smuggler. He's 2 points to include in the skirmish list.
Excuse me. Very cheap.
Yeah, very cheap. I mean, pretty much the cheapest you can have, I think.
Yeah.
He's got the keyword Smuggler. He's got 3 health, so he's not very sturdy. He's got speed 4, standard. His defense is a white dice, which is standard for Rebel.
Standard for Rebel, yeah.
Yeah. His attack is shooting attack green yellow, which is
it's interesting.
An unusual one, yeah.
Yeah. Not very ranged, but not a lot of surge in there.
Not super distance, no. But well, his yellow will bring him a couple of surges, maybe.
But green is a mix of all the three, so,
yeah.
So it can do it too. Yep.
So yeah, he's kind of a little guy, but his surge ability is a surge stun, can be useful. Surge pierce 1. And surge +2 accuracy, which is going to help him with his shooting.
A surge stun actually is a pretty powerful one for a 2-point guy. Most people don't.
Well, that's it. He's the thing is he's low risk to include in your list because he's worthless, basically, isn't he? In terms of points, anyway. The
problem with that is green yellow. How likely is that to wound? Because if you're only going to get, for instance, 2 hits and a surge,
yeah,
you're going to be going, great, I'm going to try and get that surge in there. But if they roll a 3, you get nothing.
Well, I think there's a clue in his special action, I think, about what this guy might be most useful for. So his special action is Smuggler's Instincts, and it's perform and interact, costs you an action to use, and then move then move up to 2 spaces. So what this guy can do is interact and get out of the way. So what I'm thinking is this guy is all about collecting droid parts, fiddling with terminals, opening doors, etc., etc. Rather than going around, trying to gun everybody down.
He works quite well in the new Leia maps, where you have to go pick up a droid.
That's it, yeah. He's good at that. His other thing is he's got Slippery. While defending, apply -2 accuracy to the attack results. After an attack targeting you resolves, gain 2 movement points. So, if somebody shoots at him, there's a good chance they might miss if they're at any kind of distance, and then he can duck out the way or get a little bit closer to his objective.
Jin has quite a similar ability to him then with that, except his is a bit more enhanced, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But this guy's 2 points. If he gets caught out, he's going to die. But he has got a white die, so he might not. But 2.3 health, he's going to go down. But he's good. I've seen people use him quite well for zipping around places. More the red version, to be honest, than the grey version. But anyway,
I've played against him, and I've found he's quite weak.
He's no good in a straight up fight.
He doesn't really. I found that he didn't actually do much. He didn't bring much to the actual fight, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe I was considering, like, if you had a few of them, you could block line of sight quite well to people and make the range really high.
Yeah. Well, that's it. He's a meat shield if you need one. Yeah, he's carrying a stun. A stun at the right place at the right time can be pivotal, can't it? So
there's whatever. Think about the bombers. What are they called? The rebel bombers. Saboteurs. Yeah. The saboteurs have a guaranteed distance, but if he takes that away with that, suddenly it's is quite a nice ability, I guess.
Yeah, so he's kind of an irritant and an objective grabber, I think. He can control terminals. Yeah. He's also useful for take the initiative, in a pinch. You play take the initiative and you need to exhaust somebody, it might be this guy.
He's a good card to do that. Alright, yeah. Do you know what? I can see a lot of advantages to him. What's his keyword? Smuggler?
Smuggler, yeah.
Smuggler is a difficult one. I find that's one of the cards that we have more trouble with for finding a good use for it.
Yeah. There's a couple of good ones from memory, but you wouldn't really build a deck just for this guy,
He's even got 2 points left. What do you spend it on?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So we move on to the red one.
Yeah.
The elite version, I should say. So this guy is 4 points, so double the points.
Double the cost, okay.
Yeah, he's health 5 instead of 3, so you're only getting 2 extra points of health.
Yeah.
He's speed 5, which is massive.
He's a point board, eh?
Yeah. He's speed 5, white defense die, same gun, green yellow. He's got surge stun. His surge pace goes up to pace 2.
Yeah.
His surge plus 2 accuracy goes up to plus 3.
Oh, right, yeah.
And in addition, he's got surge focus.
Okay.
Which is kind of like,
It means that he still needs to hit something and wound it to get. He's got a lot of options there for his, what he's going to do with his surges. His problem is that he isn't going to wound very much.
Yeah, that's it.
What you're really hoping for is to hit someone shoot someone who's got a white dice. They roll a blank. You've rolled 3 surges. Great, you're away.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of if this happens, then great. But you can't really count on that.
Well, at 4 points, he's starting to become. If you're a rebel player, I mean, how much is Gideon, for example?
3,
right? Okay, so this guy is more expensive than Gideon. And you start to look at him through slightly narrowed eyes, but he has got speed 5 and he has got improved smuggler's instincts. So if when he performs an interact, cost you an action, perform an interact, move up to 3 spaces. So he does that even better. So potentially he can dash up 5.
How often do you interact though?
Well, in things like the layer map, all the time. If you picking up droid parts, repair, merging droid parts together, interacting with people in the cantina, the contacts or whatever. The scenarios are very often have an interact involvement, don't they? Go and pick this up and carry it there, go and talk to that guy, etc, etc.
Okay.
But this guy, he can run 5, interact with something, and then move another 3 after the interact, so he's speedy. And he's got the same slippery, so if somebody shoots at him, when defending, apply -2 accuracy to the attack results. After an attack, gain 2 movement points. So he's all about dodging around the place.
What's that other one? Sorry, he moves after he attacks?
No, slippery, when defending,
oh right, yeah, sorry.
apply -2 accuracy to the attack results. And then after an attack targets a new resolves, gain 2 movement points.
Okay, so the same thing.
So he dashes 5, interacts with a contact in the cantina, moves another 3. Somebody shoots at him if he's still in line of sight of anyone, which is unlikely, and he gets another 2 movement points.
Right, my opinion. That's all his whole ability, yeah?
That's it.
My opinion. The grey one far better than the red one. You could fit 2 of the same guys into the list.
Yeah.
You'd have 2 of them doing the same job. Well, someone can't just come down and cut your one guy down. 5 life isn't the be all end all anyway. But shooting at 2 different targets is a much harder thing to do.
Yeah.
2 guns is better than 1 gun. You're going to be very lucky if he can get all his surges off. So what you're paying 2 points for is surge, 2 life, an extra pierce, an extra accuracy.
Yeah.
That improved ability. The movement is probably the biggest thing you're paying for, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I think for 2 points, it's very heavy.
The place I see this guy most often is stood by distant command card terminals. That's where people what are using for. Get into that terminal round 1 because he's got move 10.
Yeah.
So he's getting to that terminal wherever it is. He doesn't need to pull any tricks to do that.
They have those command cards as well that you can get to someone's zone and an upgrade.
Yeah. Oh, that's the smuggler one, isn't it? Yeah. If you can get into your deployment zone.
Don't you get 5 VP or?
Well, that's all right, 5 VPs. Especially if it's 2. If you can get the 2 point guy to do it. you know.
Yeah, but again, I'm saying, well, why wouldn't you have two guys doing it? Because
it's late game. That it's late game because by then the enemy has left the deployment zone. Some of them are dead, and you've got more chance of getting through without being blasted. You know, you're not going to march early game into the opponent's deployment zone because you're going to die.
No, of course not. You know, another thing personally, I prefer to have two guys. You're rolling two white dice, so when people are shooting at both of them.
Yeah.
To me, the chance of suddenly rolling this, you know, the X or whatever, massively higher. So I just feel like I think he's overcost for 4 points. I think it should be 3.
Yeah, maybe. Yep.
If it was 3, I think that you'd really consider him. But 4, it's like he needs to be 3.25 points or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If Gideon's only 3, and Gideon does well. You know, he's a firm favourite, isn't he?
He is. So for what lists do you think these guys are good and bad in?
Well, he's good in any list that is using a scenario, in my opinion. You know, there's basically any skirmish list.
Any skirmish.
If you can afford him, you know.
The interact heavy. If you're in a competitive list and it seems to be interact heavy, that maybe they will actually become future proof.
Yeah.
You know, the interact is going to be a generic term that's going to be used forever, isn't it? Anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, it's like anywhere where you need to zip around them across the map. Any list that's heavily relying on a command card coming out, because this guy can get to the command terminals early, so it means you've got a better chance of having 2 or 3 cards rather than drawing 1 card. You know, so if you're relying on Son of Skywalker or something like that, I know I keep going on about that card, but that's the one that people take layer for, so they can put it back in the deck. You know, if you're trying to get that card out and you didn't take devotion, is it?
Yes.
Then this guy, you know, he increases your command card draw, and he can dodge around a bit as well and survive. They do survive quite annoyingly.
They do.
Longer than you'd think they would.
That's because they're not a threat. They're not a threat.
There's that. Yeah. There's usually something else better to shoot. Yeah.
What about you know? Do you think that they're better in an elite list, or do you think that they work better in the cheap list?
The middle of the road list, you know, that's got a couple of characters. I mean, the list that's going around at the moment is the twins, isn't it?
Yeah.
Luke and Leia, some beefy Hoth rebel troopers, whatever they're called, snow-based troopers,
yeah.
echo-based troopers, and then 1 or 2 of these guys, a Gideon, a 3PO. You know, that's the list at the moment, because these guys have the dynamic of, they can, especially the red one, he can dash around and you know, do stuff while everybody else moves along in a clump, just causing carnage. That's what I've seen it played like.
Yeah, okay. I think that you're right. They're very much, because they're so cheap, like especially the grey guy, 2 points, you're literally making your list, and if you got 4 points left.
Yeah, this is the point where you're looking at the skirmish upgrade cards, you know, and thinking, nah, I don't really like that one, maybe that one, and then you think, oh, I could put this guy in for 2 instead, you know, instead of 2 skirmish upgrade cards.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the Rebel one.
It's probably worth it, to be honest. Oh, well, we're going to cover all those upgrades in one bumper episode at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's... Okay, well, I think that they're okay, these guys. They're not really like anything to shout about, in a way.
No. But yeah, they got tricks, and I presume there's the home run Smuggler command card that these guys could attempt cheaply, you know. It's not Han Solo who's trying to get to the opponent's deployment zone, it's a 2-point guy for 5 VPs. That's much more, what's the word, feasible, if you like. So they're a cheap way of burning Smuggler cards, but you know, I wouldn't build a command card deck based on these guys at all.
No.
You might throw one in if you've got a spare slot. I think, this card's come out, that guy's 6 squares away from the enemy deployment zone, let's throw him in and get another 5 EPs and possibly, you know, tipple over the victory margin.
Sure. Okay, well, do you want to talk about the command cards?
Yeah, so we've got 2 command cards.
These aren't specifically related to these guys, but...
Strangely, have we done the Smugglers already, have we, Si?
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
alright, we're just kind of doing command cards.
Doing command cards that can suit these guys, or
okay, here's one that most anybody who's played skirmish for a little while will know, probably. It's of no importance. So it's a 0-point card. You can have 1 in your deck, and it's used after the last figure in one of your non-unique groups is defeated. That group's deployment card is worth 2 fewer VPs to a minimum of 0. So you can use it on. So it's when somebody's died or a card has been finally wiped out. If they're non-unique, i.e. not a character, you can discount or reduce the amount of VPs the opponent gets by 2. So a grey Stormtrooper card is worth 4, so on and so on.
But I thought it was funny putting this in because suddenly your 2-point guy who no one shoots anyway is suddenly worth 0.
Well,
that's a wasted effort, right?
I see what you did there, so I now know why I've got this card in it.
Yeah. Of no importance, because that's how people feel about these.
That's a good psychological thing, because if you shoot the guy and he's been dodging around and maybe he's thrown an X one time on his white dice, and your opponent's getting really annoyed and finally blasts him to pieces, and you go, God, 2 VP, and you go, no, 0.
0, yeah.
That's going to really scramble his brainwaves a bit.
It's even more frustrating.
It'll put him off for a couple of minutes.
That's what I thought. It's a good card. It's 0 points. And it's actually, I think it's worth 0 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those generally useful cards, I mean, it's only 2 VPs, but we've all been in a situation where, it's neck and neck and everybody's like, high 30s, and if reducing something by 2 VPs could buy you another round, very situational, but...
I'll put a disclaimer on this, because, Celebrate, that's 0 point a card as well, isn't it? A 1 per deck.
Yeah.
Celebrate, it gives you 4 VPs when you kill a unique character.
Yeah.
So it kind of does the other way around.
It does, yeah.
The difference is that you're not always going to fight a unique list. You're constantly taking this whole Stormtrooper list.
I am, yeah.
Suddenly people are going to go, oh no, I've got Celebrate in the deck. That's gonna, it's a card wasted.
You can't use Celebrate on my list at the moment.
This card, you're taking it for your benefit because you know that you have things that you can make, so you can always use this card.
I've used it. I think everybody who's played Skirmish has used it, and it's in a lot of people's decks. I haven't got room for it right now myself, but yeah, I think it's a good card, definitely.
It's good. It's fun. It's kind of one of these generically things that you nearly have to remember to use it, but it's alright.
Yeah, it is. What I'll do forget to use it when I have it. So on to the next one. This one is the best artwork in the game. It's Efficient Travel, and it's got a lovely picture of an Ewok on an Ewok glider. It's a 1-point card.
Oh, spoiler of the Wave 8.
Oh, I wish. All Ewok spam. I'll go with that.
They're gonna do it. It'll come out.
Imagine the rage.
Has to. Yeah.
Efficient Travel, right? So this is a 1-point card. You can have one in your deck, and I do have it in my deck at the moment. Use at the start of a round, so it's one you've got to remember to use at the right time. Until the end of the round, each of your figures ignores additional movement point costs for difficult terrain and hostile figures. So the blue terrain doesn't affect your figures, any of them, for the round, and enemy figures don't. And you might say, well, who cares? I never looked at this card until the rise of the Bantha. Banthas are very irritating for blocking the corridor up until it's dead, and a Stormtrooper cannot get across a Bantha. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm stuck in the Banthas behind, I'll have to go back. This is very irritating, but if there's a Bantha coming at me, or 2 Banthas, then I'll throw this card down and just walk through them, run off, scatter, so we can't do the squash so well. So this card is in my deck just because of Banthas. But then I've not seen Banthas for about 6 weeks now.
Well, you have to remember as well, with Leia's maps coming out, they've got the big blue squares.
Exactly, yeah.
Lots of blues,
we're suddenly in we're playing a map at the moment, aren't we? Neverland Warzone or whatever it is. And it's full of trenches and bits of water and whatnot, and snowdrifts. So this has remained useful for me. And also the cantina, that damn cantina bar with all blues and red lines everywhere. This is useful to just ignore most of that.
You just throw it down.
I am gonna dash around the corner and have a shot at you or do whatever.
Yeah.
So I like it. I feel it's a little expensive at 1 point.
1 point is pretty expensive.
It feels expensive
for something that doesn't really do anything except let you move a bit better.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you win the game.
If you're facing Banthas every game, 1 point's worth it, but we're not at the moment. We'll see how it goes today at the regional in Preston. But
I personally, I'm not really a fan of it because I feel like you should be planning for moving ahead of time, and to randomly draw a card that lets you move better. I know it's a bonus, but I feel like this is something you should have preempted. You know the maps, you know what to expect.
Oh yeah.
So,
like I say, I put it in because of the Banthas, because you don't know if you're going to play a Bantha or which corridor he's going to block.
But the problem with that is then you don't know if you play it badly, then you don't know where this card's going to turn up in your deck, so it's not even that handy in
That's true, yeah.
sense, so.
I mean, my list draws 5 cards and discard 1 at the beginning of the game, doesn't it? So I nearly always, sometimes this is the one I discard. I see it a lot. I'm drawing a third of my deck at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So this one is never far away, to be honest.
No, fair.
But yeah, it is the one that I keep putting in and maybe think about taking out, putting in and taking out. I'll have to have a good look at the new wave stuff and see if there's anything I want to swap it for. But I think it's a good card, but yeah, 1 point maybe too much.
Alright, cool. Okay, and now we'll move on to what do you think of the model?
Right, back to the Smuggler, yeah?
There's the one that people are moaning about, that he isn't looking down his sights.
Is it? I've not looked at
Or he's holding the gun wrong or something.
Is he? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough about guns to...
Yeah, he just looks like the picture. He's kind of like, you know, the oldie version of Han Solo, isn't he? You know,
they give him black hair and stuff.
He's got the same gun as Han Solo, hasn't he? I think he has, anyway. Yeah. Maybe not. No, maybe not. He's got the Luke gun, I think. I don't know, but he's all right. He's just some dude in an anorak pointing a gun. I've not really looked closely at the model. It's like man with gun, isn't he? You know,
yeah.
he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be. You know, Royal Guard champion type thing. He's trying to keep a low profile. He's just a trucker, really.
He's not stolen any thunder. But you know what? He's not a bad model, is he? You know, he's
all right. From
I find that, you know, the boring models are the ones that have a, how do I say, kind of a Hero Quest pose. You know, the 2 hands just in front of themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, they've tried
legs apart.
That's it. He's tried to have him doing a little shot, haven't they, or something? So
yeah,
it's fine.
He's kind of got his shoulder tilted back a bit. I think it's all right. All right. Okay. Yeah. For me, I would say it's a 5 out of 10.
The model, yeah?
Yeah, 5 out of 10.
I'll say 6, because I can't remember what it looks like fully. I just remember the vague pose. I mean, you get casting issues where they look like the face is melted and stuff, don't you? You have to assume you've got a good cast when you're reviewing it.
Sure. Okay, well, yeah, cheers for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Cheerio.
Bye.